The lone gunmen enlist Scully's help at a DoD convention in Vegas as they pursue Byers' love interest, Suzanne Modeski.
Despite being accused of murder and kidnapped in Season 5, she appears to be relatively happy and still working with the government. All is forgiven?
This is not happening.
Spooky. Spooky.
Definitely spooky. I mean...
Could you imagine being yourself but not being yourself?
Imagine if somebody else just put words into your mouth, like hypnotized you or something, programmed you to say things that you weren't prepared to say.
Yeah. It's scary stuff, man.
Can you imagine that?
It's frightening. Frightening.
I don't even want to contemplate it. But yes, that write-up that you had there for the intro of the episode, very on point. This is the sequel to Unusual Suspects from Season 5. More lone gunmen. You know I'm in love already.
Yep.
Got a love affair with those guys. And
well, you can't go wrong with them. They're lovable buffoons. They get a lot of good. They get a lot of good moments. Like in previous episodes, they kind of focus on either all three equally. They're all in the room, piping in little different comments to Mulder or Scully, or one of them gets to say things, and the other two might make a little comment. But in this one, they all get a little screen time, which is kind of nice. Absolutely. They all get their time, and they all have something to do.
That's true.
It's just really well.
And this
really
is
well written.
Very much the raison d'etre of the Lone Gunmen spinoff. And there was enough chemistry between them, enough positive fan response, I think, that the executives at Fox said, hey, maybe we got something by maybe spinning off a new property.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Written by Vince Gilligan and John Chabon. So it's probably going to be a tight script, right?
Should be.
Vince Gilligan, he basically do no wrong.
Basically.
Directed by Brian Spicer. Now, can you tell me what famous movie in 1995 Spicer made his feature film directorial debut with?
Brandon Spicer?
Brian Spicer.
Brian Spicer.
Yeah.
1995?
Yes.
Well, this is going to be tough. Hold on.
It's going to be tough. Oh, I'm sorry. What's that typing you're doing over there?
I'm not typing.
Hands up. Don't type. He's looking up and to the right. He's consulting his memory bank.
No. I don't know. 1995?
You're
I have
gonna
no
kick
idea,
yourself.
sir. I have no idea.
You're going to kick yourself.
What is it?
Brand looked it up.
Brand looked it up. What is it?
It is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Of course.
So how does one graduate 4 years later to doing an X-Files episode? Or is it a graduation when you've done a feature film?
It is a graduation because the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers suck. I'm sorry. I was never a fan of them.
I didn't see the movie, so I can't say. But
I haven't seen the movie either.
Yeah. I imagine it's exactly what you think it is. I'll want to see it now. My goodness.
Well, now I got to go see it because this episode is top notch.
Yes, they just.
For some reason, my mind went to Starship Troopers, but I'm like, that's not 95.
No, Starship Troopers was a much better director. Who the hell was it? Did Basic Instinct. Brand says correctly it was Paul Verhoeven. Yes, exactly.
Verhoeven, yeah.
And Starship Troopers, much better movie than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, clearly. Do we want to talk now about Three of a Kind? Is it time to deal out the cards? Is it time to flush ourselves with knowledge? Is it time to get straight to the facts? Is it time to pair up the narrative with some insightful commentary? Is it time to jack off the... no, wait a second. That's not right.
Whoa. PG.
Yeah, okay. Got a million of them. Yes, let's start in on Three of a Kind, where Mike...
crap.
We opened in the suburbs, a white station wagon rolling to a stop in front of an all-American house.
Excuse me, you didn't cover the recap.
I didn't cover the...
I'm just kidding. The episode opens with a recap, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't start here.
Surely does start here. What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. There's a recap.
Last time on the X-Files?
Yeah, actually,
I see.
They do recap it.
Well, the one I watched didn't have the recap.
That's okay. I'm just joking.
Well, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go watch The Usual Suspects first and then come back. Or listen to our podcast.
Talking about Starship Troopers, real quick, I'm looking at the cast, and obviously Michael Ironside comes up.
Obviously.
Good Lord. What happened? He looks like freaking...
He got old is what happened, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but I apologize. This man, he just doesn't look like Michael Ironside anymore.
Well, and he also lost an arm in that movie, didn't he? So,
well, he's got two in this photo.
Oh, okay. Maybe
so I think he's a lying son of a bitch.
I think he's acting is what's happening there. All right, can I finally talk about this fucking episode? So, are we ready?
I mean, you can.
Okay.
I was just trying to say that he looks like Wilford Brimley right now.
Okay. All right. We are in the suburbs. A white station wagon rolling to a stop in front of an all-American house, gabled roof, white picket fence, well-cut lawn. An optimistic musical score accompanies the scene. Byers of the Lone Gunman steps out of the car and takes the mail out of the mailbox while his voice narrates a monologue. He's named after the 35th president, and he relates his beautiful dream. As he greets his darling baby girls, he wanders through the house to the backyard. While he's explaining how Kennedy wasn't assassinated in his dream, the citizens of his country trust the government. The country is hopeful and optimistic. He has everything a person can want. As he narrates, he's now in the backyard, giving his dog a playful pet, and a woman stands up and enters his embrace. Suzanne Modesky, last seen in the previous Lone Gunman-themed episode, Unusual Suspects. The two of them kiss and kiss and kiss as the camera circles them. Byers' dream, he says, ends the same way. He loses it all. Through some deft editing, he's now alone in a desert, holding a wedding ring forlornly. Credits.
Oh my God.
Wow. So they love a good narration, right? A good monologue opening.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, there's no shortage in this one. But typically we've seen the monologue openings in mythology two-parters. So
yes.
Throw one out here. That's a bold choice.
Well, they throw one out here. They throw one out in Dreamland too.
Right. Another quote unquote mythology two-parter.
Quote unquote, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the opening. It's cool. It gives Byers a little bit more emotion than perhaps we've seen. You know, he's definitely the straightest, and that's by design, right? He's the straightest of the three.
Yes,
most center line.
And wears a tie.
Yeah, he's very much a romantic, especially after their episode in season 5. So I like that they chose to come back to this and keep him a little bit more, almost something's pulling him away from maybe being in the Lone Gunman in this episode, I think. And I think if he could have a life with her, maybe that would happen. So I like that aspect of his character in this episode where it feels like he wants more and it gives him a little bit more agency in the show.
Yeah, I go with that. Interestingly, Unusual Suspects was also written by Vince Gilligan. So yes. I wonder if he has been thinking all this time, you know what? I want to get back to finish that story. You know, this is the two-parter that wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, it ends with Suzanne Modesky almost getting away, but not. So it's kind of a nice place for them to pick up the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we come back after the credits. It's Las Vegas, Nevada at DEF CON 99. We're inside a bustling casino, our camera taking us into a private salon where a selection of old white men are assembled to play some Texas Hold'em poker. Byers, masquerading as Stuart Funston, is also at the table, trading small talk about Black Ops projects. Frohke, playing a waiter, circles the table. All the other players bow out, and then it's just Byers and the man in black. He's not really in black, but that's just what I'm going to call him, because he's got that schmarmy demeanor.
Charles Rocket.
Charles Rocket. The pot quickly grows as the two men trades bets. After Byers raises a second time, the man in black casually mentions the AE-135 unit that Byers' company, conglomerated, makes. The camera focuses in on Byers' ear, showing us that he's wearing an earpiece into which Langley is dictating information about the AE-135 air conditioner that's used in the B-2 bomber. How did they get the bugs out? Asks the man in black. Byers looks stuck, and Langley is no help. While he's paused, the man decides to raise the rest of Byers' stack. Byers recovers, giving an excellent answer. They subcontracted to the Japanese and triple-billed the government, and goes all in, revealing a queen-high flush. The man reveals his own king-high flush, and decides to eject Mr. Funston and his waiter crony. Security tosses them out.
Ping.
I love this scene. I think it's pretty great.
Oh, yeah. It's good stuff.
I'm probably going to be saying that about every scene that these guys are in.
It's enjoyable. I mean, you know they're in over their heads, and they put that across immediately. And Frohick, he cannot help himself from dropping the tray when he's found out.
Yeah, exactly. They are no super spies. You know,
no,
that is a great setup to show us that it will be a miracle if they can accomplish things.
Yes. It's a good setup, though. I like, especially Charles Rocket. He is a great bad guy because he's just got a great attitude about him. And I mean, come on, he's the bad guy in Dumb and Dumber. I fucking love this guy. He's fantastic.
Well, the three circle back at their hotel room. They've just had a major setback. Byers wants to look into the man who made them. He wasn't wearing a convention badge when there's a knock at the door. Frohickey looks through the peephole, seeing Jimmy and Timmy, two other conspiracy chasers. The five of them trade barbs, but ultimately reveal that they, too, haven't found anything out. Everyone is tight-lipped. But Jimmy does let slip that the theme for this year's DEF CON is political assassination. The lads are headed for a all-you-can-eat lobster and a floor show. Byers is not interested. Frohickey delves into why Byers is so focused on these conventions, assuming that Byers is still looking for her, Suzanne Modeski. Byers is convinced she's still alive, too important a scientist to be discarded, but Frohickey is doubtful. He hopes she's in a better place than Las Vegas, and convinces Byers to go for the all-you-can-eat lobster. As Frohickey stops to play a slot machine, Byers looks over and, of course, sees Suzanne Modeski entering the casino in slow motion. The music practically rains flowers as Byers takes in her angelic vision. Byers chases after her, colliding with a man and losing her as Frohickey catches up. So yeah, classic Dreamweaver opening there with Suzanne wandering back into his life.
Yeah, much like she did in the first episode.
In the first take of it, yeah.
Happened, history repeats itself.
Yep, she's got that spell on him. I mean, there's no getting away from it.
But do you recognize Timmy?
Yeah, it's what's his name? I've got him in the end here. Well, he was in Suits as well, but that's John Billingsley.
Yes. He was. I was going to say he's Phlox from Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh right, yeah, that's the role you'd seen him more in, but certainly
terrible theme song. But we don't have to go into that.
It's the outlier, isn't it, for the Star Trek theme songs?
It's so off base. It's not even funny.
I know somebody who used it for their wedding song.
Did you apologize? Did it clear the room?
I didn't do the song. I'm just saying that they decided it was beautiful enough to use it to, commemorate their wedding. So it's not.
My wife would disagree. She won't even watch the show.
Based on the music, that's pretty harsh.
And then halfway through it, they made it worse.
Oh,
they
really?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's right. They put a beat track behind it.
Yeah, they fucked it up even worse than it was. This is unbearable, man.
Well,
I made it through it. I made it through.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Decent show.
All right. Back to the X-Files, the show that you came here listening to.
Yes.
Later, a phone is ringing in a dark bedroom. It's Scully's dark bedroom. She answers blearily, and the disjointed voice of Mulder comes through. It quickly becomes apparent it's the lone gunman using voice software to trick her.
Hey, Scully, it's me.
Mulder, what time is it?
2:34 a.m. Listen, Scully, I need you on the next flight to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas? Why?
It's the lone gunman. They're on to something big.
What exactly?
It's really important. Trust me.
Yeah, I trust you, Mulder. It's the Three Stooges I'm not so sure about.
Look, I can't talk over an unsecured line. Please just get here. It's an emergency.
Okay.
What if she calls him back?
I trapped her cell number. If she calls him, it rings here.
She's gonna kick our ass. What do you need Scully for, anyway?
We're up against agents of the government. We need our own government agent.
And that would be Mulder? What do you want, just Scully?
Oh, well, this is especially devious for the lone gunman. I'm sure this won't come back to bite them, right?
No. Worth noting, Andrew, the reason Mulder's not in this one is because he was directing The Unnatural.
Oh. Well, Gillian Anderson was pulling double duty, wasn't she?
She was.
She's doing this episode, doing that episode?
Yeah.
It's hard work.
But, she's not in that episode a lot, so she could probably make that work pretty well.
I suppose that's true. She's in the beginning and she's in the end, so yeah, fair. Yep. Well, Langley presses Byers if it was really her, and Byers is, of course, positive. And by really her, in this case, I mean Suzanne Modesky. Frohike, recognizing Byers as being really strung out, sends him out for ice so they can have a drink, and a subtle nod from the script to get him out of the room. Because we're next in the hallway, looking out from the ice machine as Byers fills a bucket. And technically, it's worth noting, this is the first of 3 shots that good old Brian Spicer is going to be using, where the camera is in something looking out. So I'll call those out. I don't know if this is a trademark for him, but he loves this shot. So he's looking out from the ice machine. Byers is filling a bucket full of ice, and then he holds a cue to his head and hears the elevator ding. He sees it's the man from the poker game. He follows this man to room 1066. He then knocks on the door. It's Suzanne. The two of them talk briefly, and the man leans in to kiss Suzanne, and then he walks inside as Suzanne flips the do not disturb sign, the universal note for we are doing it in here.
You hear Marvin Gaye kick on.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So clearly they needed him to have this moment of seeing her so that he could propel the script forward.
I think it was good for him and for the audience, honestly. Was she really there in the first scene? Or was he imagining it? So this is important to kind of solidify that.
Absolutely. We return to the site of Byers dunking his head into ice water, our second shot of him being observed from a thing. Langley thinks he's trying to kill himself, but Frohike assumes the bucket isn't deep enough. Now, I've been taught from a young age that you can drown with a cup of water, so surely if self-destruction really is Byers' goal, that bucket is plenty deep. Anyway, they get Byers to come over and see what they've found. Room 1066 is registered to a Grant Ellis. The car attached to this room is a Department of Defense car, and it's from Whitestone, the Advanced Army Weapons Facility, where Suzanne worked. All the pieces are lining up. Byers assumes that Grant has brainwashed Suzanne with the EH gas revealed in Unusual Suspects. Byers invents a narrative where Suzanne's been brainwashed, not just to work for the DoD, but to fall in love with Grant Ellis. And Frohike
my God.
proposes a way to find out. So, plot's moving along, ticking along. We're doing pretty well. 12 minutes in, we've got our through line. Liking it? You liking it?
Absolutely.
All right.
I think that they're doing a great job. And I'll say it again, the lone gunman, one of the best things about them is that they make you forget there are 2 main characters missing.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
They're just fantastic.
this is the prototype for their spin-off show, and it's working pretty well. Well, we're in the hallway outside room 1066. Frohickey stealthily approaches wearing a maintenance uniform, and he's initially scared off by a cleaning lady who goes into the room. Meanwhile, Byers goes downstairs in his G-Man outfit, but the guard who threw them out of the poker game is working the door to the conference. He can't get in. Langley proposes going in, but Byers indicates Langley's long hair and guesses that that's not going to fly. Jimmy and some of his friends arrive and engage in some nerd trash talk. The lone gunmen have long faces because they can't figure out how to get inside the conference room. But Jimmy brags that he knows a way in. But there's nothing worth hearing until tomorrow when they demo the assassination technology. Byers levels with Jimmy. He needs to get in there now to know what's going on. And if Jimmy can get in there, Byers needs him to prove it.
Prove it.
He does.
We get the vent shot of him sneaking in.
Yeah. And just an aside, you can edit this out, but I see that Conrad is in the general voice channel. I don't know if he knows how to use Discord.
That's all right. We'll get him
over
here.
He's waiting for the recording to be over so he can greet us on the way out, like...
Hey, guys. I think it was a great show. I'm not sure.
I really wasn't there. Well, we cut to the vents. Jimmy crawling through with a camcorder. He pulls down a vent cover, beginning to tape the participants at a panel, quickly finding Suzanne Medeski at the front. He also happens to find Timmy, dressed in a suit and not in the desert, shooting machine guns, as he's been told. Timmy, hearing a noise, turns to look and sees Jimmy, who starts to awkwardly and noisily crawl out of the vent. In a supply room, G-Men pull Jimmy from the vent, Timmy arriving a moment later and taking Jimmy's video camera. Timmy admonishes Jimmy he's really screwed things up. They had big plans for him, indicating Jimmy's government patsy t-shirt. Every good plan needs a patsy, notes Timmy, as one of the G-Men holds Jimmy's neck so that Timmy can use a device to inject something behind Jimmy's ear.
Oh my God.
Good for him.
Poor Jimmy.
Poor Jimmy.
Jimmy, what are you doing?
Not going to see him in the sequel, the third sequel.
The threequel.
The threequel. Back in the casino, Byers and Langley rush to the front desk of the hotel where Scully is checking in. She asks where Mulder is, but the lone gunmen offer that he was going to be hard to reach for the next few hours and that she should work with them. As they are about to bring her up to speed, hotel staff rush past, mentioning that something has happened to James Belmont. Jimmy! Our protagonists rush outside with him, overhearing a bus driver saying that he just jumped in front of the bus. She had no time to avoid him. We see Jimmy crushed beneath the wheels of the bus and bloody, definitely very dead. Byers declares that this wasn't a suicide and leaves, leaving Scully without any answers. And I gotta say, that's a pretty harsh looking death right there.
Yeah. A little too much blood, I think, for getting run over from a bus.
You don't think that would be the case?
I'm not saying that's not possible. It's just... I think it's a little too bloody for car accidents. How fast was the bus moving, really?
I don't think it's about speed. I think it's about weight.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It just...
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. I have no explanation for this.
I think you are just reacting at a visceral level where you go, come on. Fair. I thought it was just gross.
I don't think it's unbelievable. I know obviously there can be blood at a car striking a human, but I'm saying this particular scene, it looks like the blood's all over him, and he was, it doesn't look like he was torn apart.
I wonder if they did any research to come up with what it would look like.
I think the person putting the most thought into this right now is me in the 30 years it's been since this episode aired.
Fair. Okay. Well, when you do your TV show and somebody gets run over by a bus, I hope you do it better, sir.
Yes. I'll correct it.
You better. Okay. Back with Frohickey, the cleaning lady finally leaves, and Frohickey takes his moment to hack through the door and get into room 1066. In the third reverse shot from a thing, we see Frohickey take out a screwdriver and a camcorder from his satchel, looking to place them in a vent. But as he goes to do so, he sees there's already a camcorder in there, so he takes it. And I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a little timer showing us the timing, how long the camcorder's been running, and it's been running for 35 minutes. So I kind of wonder if the cleaning lady put it in there.
That's very possible.
I like that idea.
But then I just see what's going on.
I just love the fact that, you know, he goes in there with his plan only to find that somebody else has already done it. It's kind of done his work for him.
No, well, this works.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. This is great. This will advance the plot considerably.
Absolutely. It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/MagusMedia, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support.
Frohike goes to leave, but Suzanne returns, and he quickly hides in the bathroom. Suzanne begins to disrobe, putting on a bathrobe as Frohike watches. On any other day, he'd probably be really into this. Suzanne is heading to the bathroom when there's a knock on her door, and she goes to the door instead. Looking through the peephole, she pauses.
Her boobies?
Like, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he saw
Frohike, you voyeur.
Listen, this is a big win for him. Don't take this away from him.
I'm not taking it away.
He knows that this is being recorded too. So, I mean, come on, you better, right?
Yes. This is all sorts of wrong, considering he's got a video camera in hand.
Exactly. Well, she goes to the door. She looks through the peephole and pauses, deciding whether or not to open the door. Eventually, she does, and we see it's Byers.
Do you remember me?
John, what are you doing here?
I'm here to save you.
From what?
I don't think you are yourself. I think that you've been mistreated and confused, and I'm afraid that your beliefs, your opinions are no longer your own.
As in, I've been brainwashed? I don't know what to tell you. I haven't been.
Your life may be in danger, Suzanne. A friend of mine has just been killed, murdered.
What?
And that man that you're with.
My fiancé? I'm sorry, John. I think you better go.
No, wait. 10 years ago, I saw you thrown into a car, kidnapped right in front of me. Did that not happen? Did I just dream all of that?
It happened. But things got better.
Ooh, things got better after being kidnapped, you know.
That's what every victim of spousal abuse says.
He was really nice afterwards.
It was my fault.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
I deserved it.
I deserved it.
Awkward, yeah. Well, she closes the door on him and all his hopes and dreams. Suzanne returns to an empty bathroom, turning on the taps for a bath. The nicest taps I've ever seen. I mean, solid gold eagles seem to be the tap features.
No, swan.
Oh, that's right there, swans.
Golden
so the
swan.
taps are turned on. We see a panel in the ceiling being pulled back into place. Frohike has narrowly escaped. Outside in the hallway, Byers is whacked in the head by Frohike's bag as he emerges from a panel in the ceiling. Frohike produces a video cassette from the camcorder that Suzanne is a popular girl. Well, that's a hell of a scene. Anything to take away from that?
I feel for Byers in this because
yeah.
Because we know what happened and we know that he knows the truth. And I think it just bothered me in the sense that she's not affected by seeing him at all, which doesn't jive, obviously, or jibe with how they ended in the last episode. We want her to be happy to see him, but she's very dismissive and very off-put by him being there. So that's like, what is going on?
But I actually think it's a pretty well layered performance there because
absolutely
she spends so much time thinking about whether she's going to open that door. And I think there's a lot wrapped up in that. And then when she does answer it, I almost feel like the performance she's giving there, that Suzanne is giving, is one of, I need to get him out of here. I need to let him down in a way that makes it so that he's not going to chase after me. Thanks for coming. I recognize you. I'm not in trouble. Leave me alone. Because in the back of her head,
she doesn't want him to die.
Yeah, I don't want you to die as a result of the plan that I have. That's gonna save me. And maybe she'll find him after. But I also think she is kind of Stockholm Syndrome with Grant. So
a little bit. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to cut now to Scully performing an autopsy. So, I mean, more good marks for the episode because that's what she does real good. She's performing the autopsy on Jimmy, and Langley is in attendance. So Langley gets his opportunity to act a little bit. Scully conducts the autopsy. Langley looks visibly affected. This is probably his first autopsy. Langley asks if they could have made Jimmy do this, pancake himself, to which Scully is visibly skeptical. She begins with a Y incision, pulling back the skin over Jimmy's chest, and Langley starts hyperventilating. Scully is clearly enjoying this. And when she asks him for the striker saw, Langley drops the tool and flees, emptying his guts into an adjacent room. Scully reaches down to pick up the saw, seeing the injection mark by Jimmy's ear. Suddenly, a strong set of hands pulls her from the ground and covers her mouth. It's Timmy, who injects Scully with the same mystery device. She spasms as we fade to black. Oh no! She's gonna die! She's the only one in this episode. She's gonna die!
So, I know they had to do this with Langley. They had to give it some comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And who better to have in an autopsy bay than Langley? So, excellent. We saw it coming. However, I think the way he plays this is pretty fucking awesome because
it's so good.
If you notice, like the sweat starts beating up on his forehead as the scene progresses. And then when he gets the saw, he's so terrified of it. And he can't believe he's handing a saw to her. He's just staring at it the whole time.
I think he just knows, oh God, this is going to cut into Jimmy's chest. I can't do this, but I have to do this.
Yep. She's telling me to do this. I must hand her the saw.
I can do it. Nope, can't do it. Oh, so good.
It was pretty good.
Well, outside, we're with Langley as he vomits profusely, and he hears something drop in the autopsy room. He rushes back to see Scully is sprawled out on the floor, and he helps her up. She's dazed, and Langley assumes she passed out due to the blood and guts. That can have an effect on some people, don't you know? And he gets that something is clearly wrong when she calls him cutie. She's done the autopsy, and in her medical opinion, Jimmy died from a beep splat. We have a great moment where she gets progressively wasted, the drug coursing through her system, and she falls ass over tea kettle. This is Gillian Anderson preparing to do her comic chops, and it's a good start.
Yeah, we get some humorous lines from Scully in this episode.
Oh, she's about to go full blast.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the Lone Gunmen
cameo.
Suite. Yeah, we're going to get a really nice cameo soon. Back in the Lone Gunmen suite, they start reviewing the tape. Langley reports that Scully said she had something important to do. She is seriously jet-lagged. On the tape, we see Suzanne and Grant seriously jet-lagged. It's only an hour's difference between Washington and Las Vegas, right?
It might be 2.
Might be 2?
Yeah, depending on the time of year.
True. Except that's still not serious jet lag, is it?
Well, he's trying to explain why she fainted.
True enough. On the tape, we see Suzanne and Grant having a conversation. She's worried that they're monitoring her every move. They certainly are. But Grant assures her that the plan is still on track. The two begin kissing, and Frohike quickly stops the tape. Byer declares that, despite his previous conversation with her, that is not her. They are making her do this somehow. Frohike, with his years of wisdom surrounding women, suggests that maybe that's not the case. When Byer declares she wouldn't marry that man, we hear Suzanne's voice. You don't know him like I do. She's broken into their suite, courtesy of the hacking unit Frohike left in her room. Again, he's not a perfect spy.
Nope.
We learn more about Grant from Suzanne, who's going to drop some pretty big exposition for Byers. Frohickey and Langley leave them. Byers posits that Jimmy died because of something he saw at her conference, but he can't prove it. Suzanne says that she is in danger, her and Grant, who has saved her and thousands of others. She recounts what happened over the past 10 years? It's not 10 years, 2 years, right?
10 years. The episode Unusual Suspects took place in 89.
That's right. Thank you very much. 10 years. It was 10 years. Recounts what happened over the last 10 years.
She hasn't aged a day.
Yeah, I know. It's only you aged only looks max 2 years, really. And they did things to her. She was drowning, probably metaphorically, and then Grant was there helping her. She didn't trust him for years, but then she realized he was resisting the project, stalling them, reminding her of Byers. Oh, look at that.
Oh my
God. Manipulating him again, maybe.
Is she just telling him what he wants to hear?
Well, it's an interesting question. Is she manipulating him? Is she realizing that actually I could use Byers? Like, she's obviously expressing her doubts to Grant. So maybe she's like, oh, I got this other guy. Maybe I can.
Well, I think I don't think she's all planned. I think she really does trust Grant right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Until later in the episode. Yeah. So I don't think she's trying to use Byers. I do think she's trying to be honest with him, but one could read it as maybe she's just telling him what he wants to hear.
Well, we'll see how that teases out. Down in the casino, Langley and Frohickey are playing the slots when Timmy arrives. He tells Langley that the lads are going to be playing some memorial D&D in Jimmy's honor, and Langley announces that Lord Manhammer will be in attendance. As we're left with Frohickey.
Name ever.
The best name ever, for sure. As we're left with Frohickey, he hears Scully's dulcet laughter in the distance and goes to investigate. She's at the bar, surrounded by men in suits, surrounded far too closely. She's clearly wasted. Michael McKean makes a guest appearance as Fletcher from Dreamland, who offers her a cigarette, which she seductively takes with her lips from his pack. But who's got a light? 10 lighters are produced by her suitor. She just can't decide who's going to light her fire. And that's enough for Frohickey, who drags her out of there, her virginity intact, while Fletcher announces that they could have been stardust. Maybe next time, she tweaks, while slapping his ass on the way out.
She got him back.
Got him back.
Excellent scene.
Yeah, that's a hell of a scene. I mean, she, I think, has been waiting for an opportunity to play this kind of character.
Oh, yeah.
Completely trashed.
Yeah, completely trashed. And Frohickey, god damn it, he's not going to let anyone get to her before he does. You can't soil her.
You can't soil my lady. Upstairs, Langley arrives with Timmy for the D&D game, but inside he sees 2 G-men, not the D&D players he was expecting. We've got a game for you, intones Timmy, ominously. Meanwhile, Byers and Suzanne continue to review the tape. She announces that they know their plans. They know everything. They were going to escape, Grant and her, to reveal the plans of their masters to the world. Now that they know, they're going to kill both her and Grant. Frohickey arrives with Scully, who is having the best time ever, laughing it up. Byers is confused at Scully's drunkenness, but Suzanne sees it for what it is. Scully has been injected with one of Suzanne's mind-affecting chemicals, in this case, AH, anoetic histamine, her latest creation. Scully makes the best faces through this entire scene. Grant thought if Suzanne secretly developed a small batch, they'd have proof, and they could use it against their masters. And it's a dark moment when she reveals that Grant and her are the only ones with the samples, and that's a pretty damning moment against Grant.
This whole fucking scene. Jillian, when she puts her head back to normal after looking at the injection, Scully's like laughing at how confusing this all is.
You're touching my head. I love it.
This is amazing. Oh, man. What a great scene. Yeah.
Well, later on, Langley returns as Suzanne prepares an injection. Scully pouts as she's given the injection by Suzanne to counter the effects of AH. Scully then flops over as she passes out, needing to sleep off the effects. Suzanne explains the hypnotic effect of the AH as Byers wonders what their larger purpose is. Frohickey says they better find out fast as the camera tracks into focus on the injection mark behind Langley's ear, as we fade to commercial. Oh, no.
Not Langley, too.
Not Langley.
Just a little prick, Matt says.
Yeah. Upstairs, Langley knocks on Timmy's door, reporting as ordered. Timmy and Langley sit as Timmy gives Langley his instructions. Enter the soirée room with his pass. Sit near the back. Wait for the morning break to be called and use this gun to shoot the target. Langley takes the gun and listens passively to Timmy. Oh no, Langley's a robot assassin.
No, not Langley. This can't be happening.
Yeah, but it is, Mike. It is. Later on in this.
What would have been funny is if they made him cut his hair.
What have you done to me? Later on in the soirée room, the panel speaker discusses acceptable risk as Langley arrives, sitting near the back. On the panel, Grant and Suzanne sit, taking notes and listening. Suzanne checks her watch. Outside, Scully tries to enter with her FBI badge, but is rebuffed by the security guard, attendees only. Inside, Grant suggests to the speaker that it's time to take a break, and he watches mournfully as Suzanne steps away to talk to fellow conference goers. Langley stands, walking towards Suzanne, and in slow motion pulls out his gun and approaches her. People dodge out of the way as Langley shoots Suzanne 3 times, his face splattered with her blood. He puts his gun away and calmly exits the scene. Scully and the security guard rush inside to find Suzanne's corpse. The security guard calls for an ambulance, the call being intercepted by Byers and Frohickey, already dressed in EMT uniforms. Grant rushes over to ask who did this, but Scully says that the shooter got away and has the security guard detain Grant. Byers and Frohickey arrive to take Suzanne away. Timmy arrives to inspect the carnage, checking the blood, and when he tastes it, he knows something is up. What a whirlwind scene. And this is where the lone gunmen shine. They have their act together when it really counts.
Yep. And they're good at infiltration, but they're not so good at follow through. It's scenes like this, like you said, though, that they come to save the day. And they're good at that, I will say.
Yeah. When they are called to action, they, like true heroes,
they're there.
Respond with their all. Yeah. I think they only fail when there's nothing really big on the line.
Right.
Like when they're allowed to make mistakes because they are imperfect characters. And I really quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
Upstairs, Scully takes Grant to one of the hotel rooms. Inside, Suzanne is not so dead as we were led to believe. And she asks for a moment alone with Grant.
Big surprise, huh? Since you programmed my friend to kill me?
No, Suzanne, it wasn't my idea.
You knew about it. You gave it to them. The AH. If I hadn't thought to check Langley, if I hadn't given him the antidote... I don't understand. Why save me? Why save my life just to take it away?
You know why.
You were done with me. You had what you wanted.
They had what they wanted. The project was over. Honest to God, it wasn't my idea.
All those years you spent gaining my trust. You pretended that you loved me. What could they possibly give you for that? What was it worth to you, Grant? What was your price? What did you get?
Life.
Man, that's all it takes to get bad guys to do stuff, hey? Just threaten to kill them?
Yeah. I mean, the moral dipstick of this guy is so shallow. He doesn't try to do the right thing. He doesn't try to save her. They want me to give you up, and even though I'm in love with you, sure, why not?
You know what? They could just kill me. So, I mean, our love is really skin deep. That's basically
exactly. I am going to save my ass.
Our love is opportunistic.
I didn't even let you know, and we didn't even try to come up with a plan together. I just folded like a cheap sofa.
Yes. Well, we're in the final stretch here because Timmy arrives and shoots Grant. Pretty quick succession.
Yes.
Then he aims the gun at Suzanne. And is this the end for Byers' love interest? We cut to the lone gunman in the process of faking Suzanne's death and setting her up with a new identity. A knock on the door suggests that Suzanne's done, and Frohickey answers, letting her in. But Timmy is behind Suzanne, pointing his gun threateningly. Timmy goes to kill Suzanne, and Byers rushes over. But Timmy cold cocks him with a gun, sending him to the floor. As Timmy delivers his evil catchphrase, that the best thing about killing you three is that you won't have to dress like them anymore, Byers, having had an AH injector in his hand the whole time, uses it to inject Timmy with the AH, his eyes going wide. He smiles and collapses to the floor, falling onto Byers. Frohickey asks what they want to do with him, and Byers has an idea. And there is indeed a great moment where John Billingsley says, "Hey, cutie," because they like to repeat their stuff in this episode. We cut to a television report, which reports that the police have made an arrest in the deaths of Jimmy and Grant Timothy Landau, a.k.a. Timmy. The camera tracks to Scully, who was on a phone call with Mulder. Mulder clearly has no idea why Scully is in Las Vegas, and as she realizes she's been set up by the lone gunman, she announces that she is going to kick their asses. Finally, outside, we have a denouement between Byers and Suzanne as Frohickey and Langley pack up her stuff into the trunk of a cab. Suzanne Modesky is dead, announces Byers. It's all been programmed into the computers of the USA, federal, state, all those levels. He hands her her new identity. She asks him to come with her, and he struggles to respond that she'll be safer without him. She wants to go public, but he tells her not to. Leave it up to them. This is what they do. She hands him the wedding ring that was meant for Grant. She wants him to have it, and to seal their unofficial union, she kisses him. Someday, she announces, as she gets into the cab and departs, leaving the lone gunman to contemplate a spin-off series.
Yes. I think we should approach producers and talk about our lives.
Guys, I think this is really fun. I think we have something here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we got something? Should we maybe do this again?
They apparently didn't have anything, but
no, they didn't have more than one season.
No, but I do like what Matt's saying. His Byers' reaction is very real in this moment, and on top of that, I would say the previous scene with Signe Coleman when she's yelling at Grant. Holy shit!
Oh boy, yeah.
She belts that out like she cannot believe that he did this, and it's the ultimate betrayal. Just a wonderful scene.
Yeah,
both of them.
You need to have that over the top moment to sort of justify that they have had a relationship for these past 7 years or whatever. The time that he took to seduce her, essentially, developed into this relationship, which turned her life around. She was not into being a government worker for this department, and yet he managed to turn her around. So yeah, clearly they had a relationship that meant something. So for it to be all a lie, it's got to be something big on her end, and she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Great episode.
That's a great episode. Yeah. Why don't you hit us with your final thoughts there, Mike?
Well, all I would really say is that it's a sequel that we didn't need. I'm not sure that anyone asked for it, but I enjoy it. I think it's a great little capper on that one-off episode in season 5. It was the beginning of season 5. It was a fun episode then, and we got to see the lone gunman in action doing what they do best. And this allowed that to breathe a little bit. It's maybe not perfect, but at the same time, I think it serves that episode very well. And I think having that stamp on Byers' quote-unquote relationship with this woman is important. It was important for his character. And this was a clever way to do it, in plain sight, in the most vibrant city in the world almost. It's one of those things where, there's a lot of shady stuff going on, but it's in such an obvious place. There are eyes everywhere. So I thought that was kind of an interesting place to set it. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. The acting was phenomenal. Michael McKean's appearance.
His cameo.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Always love to see him. And Jillian fucking rocked the drug scene. So I just like it. It's a good episode.
Oh yeah, I liked it a lot too. As I said, I'm a sucker for lone gunman stuff. It is the worthy sequel to The Unusual Suspects. I think that Vince Gilligan had a lot more show in Unusual Suspects, and obviously there's not a lot of runway with 42 minutes. He probably canvassed and got approval to finish the story. it is a satisfying wrap. It's a resolution to the question of what happened to Suzanne Modeski, what happened to the one that got away. And I do like they do keep the door open for her and Byers to have that dream, which is nice. You know, they don't need you to validate it by saying they are going to run away together, but because that would take Byers out of the show, clearly.
Right.
But I do like that it's there as a possibility. That's all I need. John Billingsley, great as Timmy. It's a tight script. And the chemistry is good enough. They're going to give him a spinoff. That's great. Love Gillian Anderson. And yeah, it's I found you didn't need Mulder for this. I love that he's only this disembodied voice, the Mulder 3000. Mm-hmm. And it kind of works, actually, that they use him as just a gambit to get Scully.
Yeah. And what Matt's saying in the chat, Scully getting her own episode with the Lone Gunmen, that's key. And I think they had to play on that. It almost worked out because Mulder was off doing The Unnatural. So
yeah,
allowing Gillian Anderson to have her own episode with the Lone Gunmen like he did in Unusual Suspects, it's a nice little bow on that as well. They each got an episode with them.
I've just had moments with the Lone Gunmen before.
Oh, absolutely.
Going to them to uncover Diana Fowley's mysterious past. So it's not like she's a stranger to them, but I get what you're saying. You know,
it's more of a complete episode dedicated to that idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that they immediately deviate to turning her into kind of a trashy tramp because of the drugs. But first of all, it's the 90s. You're going to get that. And it's a unique opportunity for her to play outside of her normal character. The drugs made me do it. And she pulls it off like a champ. So really good.
Good stuff.
Well, I think that is it for Three of a Kind.
That is it.
Sequel to Unusual Suspects. And as is our tradition, Mike, would you like to give us the final word on this one?
I would. Everyone bet wisely. Don't overdo it, and always watch out for those drug needles because someone is just waiting to make you their bitch. And pancake yourself underneath a bus.
Splat.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at tinhxfilespod, no dash, to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.